my beautiful friends. As you're coming in, say hi. If you're new to my world and this is the first time you're ever catching me live, I would hope you can say hello, introduce yourself so I can say hi. If you're an old friend, I hope you would say hello. And if you're watching the replay, say hashtag healing to happy. Today, I want to share the best offer that we have had to date. I'm so excited about Unattached. It is happening next week. It is going to be 2 weeks long. It's going to be 4 to 6 modules. We don't really know. We like to throw in some extra here, but I want to talk about what it is and why I'm so excited about it, because I know what that feeling is like. That feeling of, oh my freaking goodness, how can I date and feel free? How can I trust again? How can I be vulnerable? How can I create vulnerability in my relationships and create this like living, walking, breathing sanctuary? Bonjour. And really what I remember when so much so, how crunchy this felt when I first started. So if you are new to my world, hi, my name is Laura Patricia Martin. I'm a trauma specialist, relationship breakthrough mentor. I help women and men collapse time in their healing so that they can feel freedom in mind, body, soul, and relationships, and really show up in their most expressed, bold version of themselves, regulating their nervous systems, using science with soul, using strategy and trust and flow and embodiment. And it really is just my mission in this world is to be the safest place for others to land and have everyone else create that as well. Like, imagine a world if we were all just living sanctuaries, what kind of businesses we would have, what kind of family relationships we would have, what kind of relationships with our body and wealth that we would have. And that's our big mission here. And that's what Unattached is a part of. So Unattached, we're going to be going from insecure attachment styles to secure, because if you're someone that's anxious, avoidant, or disorganized, that is fixable. Your nervous system is like plastic. Your nervous system gets to mold. Just like when we apply heat to it, it gets to shift and change. And what I want everyone to really understand is like we are in control of our destiny and our relationships. If you would have told me even 3 years ago that my life would be like it is now, free, abundant, dating is honestly very easy, attracting people is very easy, having conversations that I want to be having the community that I want to have, having the business that I want to have, it's very flowy and embodied and trusting and all those kind of things. If you would have told me that, I wouldn't have believed you. Hello, John. I wouldn't have believed you because I was stuck in trauma responses. My background, and I'm going to dive into some domestic violence here. I'm going to talk about addiction. So if that triggers you, maybe pass this part of the conversation and come back in like 5 minutes. I come from a background of domestic violence, of cheating, of sexual assaults, of eating disorders, of things of that nature. And I used to try and find my match in relationships. Like somehow I would be validated in my relationships that I was worthy, that I was lovable, that I would belong. And so as I was going through my life situations and trying to become this healed version and embodied version, and I'd find myself inside of relationships, I'd find myself trauma bonding with people. And maybe you've experienced this, like you're dating different people but having the same kind of experiences and wondering why. Like, why do, my mother was an addict, so why do I keep attracting addicts? Or why does every partner I'm with always cheat on me? Or why do I always lose myself and get into codependency behaviors? This is because that's a match of our nervous system. We repeat cycles until the trauma and stored emotion, maybe you don't vibe on with the word trauma, but that stored emotion, we will repeat that until it's actually released from our body. So if you're someone where you're like, every time I step into a relationship, like I'm good on my own, I'm strong, I'm independent, I have all my stuff together, I'm crushing it in my business and I'm doing these kind of things, but every time I step into a relationship, I lose myself. I lose myself inside of my relationships, and why does this happen? Or when my partner wants to engage with me, like they want to have this serious conversation and I care about my partner so much, but I have to pull back. I have to lean back and I have to disengage, and I know I'm hurting my partner, but like I can't fucking do this shit. Maybe you're in one of those things, or maybe it's all over the board depending on who you're with, right? Like those are our attachment styles I can't even get a woman to say hi to me. We'll talk about that for sure. So when we're in these disorganized, when we're in avoidant, when we're in anxious, when we're in these spaces, it's when our nervous system isn't feeling safe. So we're going to feel out these kind of scenarios. Like if you saw my post today where I kind of shared how, I'm walking. Sometimes I can see clients that I've worked with where it's like I've done so much work on myself, and then all of a sudden I'm triggered back into my old programming of I'm like searching their phone, I'm not trusting them, I'm questioning where they were last night, I'm sitting here waiting for a text, and we give our power away, which isn't sexy at all, and it's not a match, right? And so what is that? Why does that happen? It's self-protection. And so instead of shaming our self-protection mechanisms, right? Like what society calls as quote unquote self-sabotage, science calls self-protection. So give yourself grace. If you've done that in the past, if you've been doing it, if you like catch yourself doing it, it's like, holy shit, why am I doing this? Like, you are so safe in that, and that's okay, and it's reprogrammable. That's what we're doing inside of Unattached. Because imagine what it would be like entering into a relationship and not carrying any of the bullshit from your past relationship. Like being able just to see that person as an individual in and of themselves. Not because of the boys and the girls or the people that have broken your heart or the parents that didn't meet your love and made you feel unlovable and chasing all these things. Like imagine what type of freedom you could bring to a relationship if that happened. But here's the roadblock that I commonly get. If my partner would just do this work, I would then feel safe. But that's not how healing works. No one else is writing that permission slip for you. No one else is creating your safety. No one else does that for you. And if you're waiting for someone to give you that hall pass, to give you that permission slip, to relax, to lean back, to trust again, that's not going to come. It's not going to come. Maybe you might get a letter someday, or maybe, I remember when I would hold on hope when I had my past, not this recent breakup, but the one that changed my life with domestic violence and addiction. He was a drug addict and, almost lost my life being in that relationship. And I remember being like, oh, if he would just apologize to me, I would feel safe. If he would just write this letter, hi, my beautiful, how are you, Sheila? If he would just write me this, then therefore I would feel like I had a permission slip that I'm okay to go love again, or I'm okay to act this way, or I'm okay to do these things. But you hold the key to that power. Like, I want you to know and like really fucking feel my energy right now of how fucking powerful you are, and that no matter what you've walked through, or no matter who you've dated, or no matter who you're currently dating, like, you get to be that living sanctuary. And instead of, hey, what can I do to help my partner that's attached avoidant? How can I get them to re-engage? Or how can I get my partner that, is attached anxious? How can I, help them? Which is a beautiful question on both spectrums. But the way that you help them is you help yourself. Because the way people react is a reflection of how they feel in our presence. Right? Like, the thing I pride myself on is people love to tell me stuff. Like, I love that it feels so safe for people. Not in a way that's like unfolding. It's like, I feel so safe in your presence that this is how it's going to be. And I've shared recently about my past breakup where it's like he came to me in full trust and transparency and was like, hey, I'm having wandering thoughts. I really just want to be with a Latin woman. Like, I love everything about you. There's nothing wrong with you. I just want to be with a Latin woman. And a lot of women message me being so fucking irritated about that. But it is such a win. And this is the thing about being an unattached woman. You don't get to choose what vulnerability comes to you. You don't get situational vulnerability. You have to be able to hold the thing. And the reason that I'm able to bloom from that breakup is because I was not attached to him. When he came to me and he shared that with me, it was one of those things of course, obviously I felt my heart in my butthole at first as a proper response, but then sitting there being like, oh, this has nothing to do with me, and this is nothing I can change. I'm not going to bribe you out of this. I'm not going to shift this. We're safe to depart and go our separate ways now. Of course, there's more to that story. But the thing about being unattached and being the safest place for people to land is you get their deepest heart, their deepest soul, because you also get your friendships coming to you and sharing their deepest hearts. You get to interact with your children in such a way where it's like it's a permission slip. So instead of like projecting your trauma and your protection and your mechanisms onto them, they're allowed to explore in a way that feels free. This is something I walk through with my clients that are mothers, and they're trying to not project their traumas onto them with attached anxious and checking their phones and checking what they're doing and, passing their trauma on to their kids. Like, it goes so much more than just romantic partners. But when we become a living sanctuary, when we become so fucking beautifully unattached, there is so much more mental space for you to not worry about what they're doing or if they're going to text you back or why is the read receipts on and they haven't texted me or when was the last time they're online and why are they ignoring me and, how can I avoid them and oh my God, are they going to be here? I can't go there. And all these things that we get stuck in a cycle of ourselves. And if I could tell you one thing, because I never thought, and I shared a post, I'll share it again. If you go through my feed, I was sharing a post how I remember sitting in my therapist's office I think I was 26 at the time. And it had been a full year since my breakup. And I was like, I just want one day where I don't think of him. Where I'm not worried about him. Where I'm not concerned if I'm going to run into him. I'm not hoping if I'm not going to, I just want one day. And to use the tools that I'm going to be teaching you in Unattached to shift from trauma bonding, obsessed, codependency, to be able to be in a regulated force, be like, I don't give a damn if you text me back. I probably am not on your phone. Actually, that's feminine, masculine energetics. I will probably take a while to text you back anyways. But to feel safe in that, to feel okay, because at a point in life, I didn't think I would ever not be able to think about someone. I didn't realize how much of my brain was caught inside of the anxious attachment and also the avoidant attachment after that, because I was so anxiously attached to my past partner that then I became avoidant because I was so afraid that, oh my God, what if someone breaks my heart like that again? So I didn't let anyone in. I let people in enough so I could get that ding oxytocin hit, but then I wonder why I was so unfulfilled and felt so unloved. Like, this is what happens. And now, when you have emotional mastery, which is what I'm teaching you inside of Unattached, when you have emotional mastery, there is such a love and a joy and a pleasure and a delight and a presence and a freedom that is available. Like, I can tear up because it's something I know all of us are capable of feeling, and yet we fear it because what if it's lost? But the thing is, when you're unattached, you know that even if that section of what you're holding gets taken away, you're still fucking okay. Because you got your back, because you're a living sanctuary, because you're not attached to anyone else giving you your health, your happiness, your wealth, anything, any of that stuff. It is you. You hold that power. And yes, life fucking happens. The unexpected happens. That's life. But when you have a regulated nervous system and you hold this power within yourself and you become the unattached woman, it no longer is this living in fear moment. It's an, I got my back, no matter fucking what. I'm the damn prize. I was born worthy. Nothing about that has fucking changed. Let me show the world this. And in doing so, you give everyone else the permission slip to do that too. Like, it is a domino effect that continues to go and give and breathe in this world. That is how dating, that is how relationships, that is how friendships, that is how business changes. We give everyone else permissions to be themselves because we trust ourselves so much. Because we are the living sanctuary. Because we have the freedom to be whoever the fuck we are. I always make the joke, like, every day is Halloween because it's like, who am I today? And that's, like, that type of freedom. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it wasn't like where I'm losing my head thinking that I need to be, hi, Amelia, how are you? That I'm losing my space, I'm losing my time because I'm on my phone, I'm checking if they message me back, I'm checking what they're doing, I'm checking their story to make sure that I can see that I'm caught up in what they're doing. Sorry about the dogs in the background. That I'm keeping up with them, I'm keeping up with the Joneses, or, I need to avoid this even though I know I'm hurting my partner, all these things. How much more mental space would you have if that wasn't being caught in the background? If that noise wasn't playing, what more mental space would you have? Sorry about the dogs. Dogs, quiet please. But that is what the unattached woman is. That is the freedom. Man too. Men are allowed in this one. I'm just so used to only speaking to women. We have opened it up to all types of people. because this is just the energy of changing and reprogramming your nervous system. Like, my biggest thing is that I want you to know that who you are and the situations that you've walked through that have made you feel like anxiety, or you're feeling trapped in the nerve, like in your response mechanisms, and you're feeling trapped in those kind of ways. Because I remember that. I remember being like, am I gonna fucking be like this forever? Am I gonna do this in every relationship? I'm gonna self-sabotage my relationships in this way. Like, is this really how it's gonna be? I want you to know no. There is so much freedom, there's so much space, there's so much energy and joy that life gets to hold. There's you, there's the embodiment, there's this walking energy field that you hold literally in your center, and it gets to be how much life, my mentor said this the other day, how much life do I get to fit into this lifetime? And that only comes when we unattach ourselves, when we take ourselves away from these external forces and we realize this power that we have inside of ourselves. And it's not just, let me, talk to my girlfriends about it, or let me write things in my journal and manifest. Like, there is science around regulating our nervous system. So if it hasn't worked before, it's not that anything is wrong with you and you're stuck like that. It's just we haven't put the right tools in place, right? Like, it took Thomas Edison 1,000 tries to make a light bulb. That's all it is here. And sometimes in this world of trauma and the things like that, like, we either get stuck in two realms where it's like, one, especially relationship trauma and like dating after trauma, is like, one realm is we're stuck in like the therapy loop where we're so stuck on the origin story, just like harping and harping and harping. And I remember that, like, I was in therapy for a long time, just needing to reassess the origin and talking about my parents and talking about, my ex and talking about these things. And it got to a point where I was like, this isn't working. I get that I need to figure out my origin, but how do I feel safe in my present? That's what we're doing here. We are remolding the nervous system. Freedom is to be who you are and know you got your back, and let others be who they are. Exactly. And so when you work through this, and then the other realm of trauma is we just mask. We mask, we avoid, we keep repeating cycles. And, I've been talking to a few people where it's like, oh, this happens in my relationship. Like, this is my relationship history. And they're unfulfilled by it. And yet nothing is being done to reprogram that. It's just hoping that the next person will be the person that changes that. And that's not how it works. Stop giving your power to other people, thinking they're the one that are going to regulate you and shift your patternings. It's not the right person will come and this won't happen. That's not how life works. You create it. You heal. You're responsible. That does not mean you're at fault, but you are responsible. And so if this is landing for you, if you feel like, oh my God, I just want to feel free in my relationships, whether it's in my partnerships, whether it's in my marriage, whether it's in my dating life, whether it's with my relationship with my body, whether it's in my relationship with money, like, all of this goes together. It's our attachment styles, whether it's avoidant, whether it's anxious, whether it's disorganized. If you're feeling like this is something that keeps getting in my fucking way, and I feel like the books that I've read and the podcasts that I've listened to, like, it's not a vibe and it hasn't shifted, like, this is where you're going to want to tap into. It has changed my life, changed my entire life. It changed my clients' life. It changed their kids' lives, their relationships, like, And so I want to bring it to the world. Instead of just doing it in the back end in my masterminds and inside my programs, I wanted to bring it into a masterclass. So it's going to be 2 weeks long. We start August 8th. It's going to be 4 to 6 modules. Time zones vary, so you don't have to worry about that. We're going to make sure once we have everyone's signups that we have the time zone set in place so that you can at least make 1 or 2 calls. You have access to the recordings for a lifetime inside of the product suite, so you don't have to worry about missing a damn thing. Don't let time be an excuse. If it's important to you to create the love story of the ages, to feel safe in your body, to have the freedom to become a walking, living sanctuary, to feel so fucking magnetic and delicious and in charge of your life, unattached is where you're going to want to land. And then if you want to take it a step further, we have this beautiful space called the Dating Micromind. So this is high level support inside of Voxer. So you'll see this at checkout. It's an extra $444. You'll see it at checkout. It's all through Voxer. It's me as your coach for 30 days to take it beyond just another masterclass, but to really personalize this experience for you inside of like the women in this container, the men, like that's how co-regulation happens. This is how we change it. We take it from we're learning something conceptually and now we're applying it to our personal life. I would not know how to do life without my high level mentorships. I've been in them for years. And when you have a space and someone that's not just like bitching over wine or beers with the girls or the guys, like actually a place to come and unfold and share your heart and get something personalized from you, from an expert, from a specialist, it changes the game, right? Someone that's walked it, someone that's living it, someone that's there for you in your corner. So it's through Voxer. Voxer is a walkie-talkie app. So you just pop into your phone, you walkie-talkie it, and I will reply during office hours. So you can upgrade to that. Usually that is $1,000, and we're doing it for $444 as an upgrade for this masterclass or for this program. So if you're interested in that and taking it a step further, let us know. We have banging payment plan options. You just have to reach out and lead yourself to the conversation if that's something you want to do. Again, you're responsible. You're the creator of your life. If you want something, go after it. Ask for it. How can I make this work? What are payment plan structures we can put into place? How can we do this? Because I am so fucking ready to put 2 feet in on my healing. I want this juicy life. I want to feel like my life is magnetic. I want to feel this joy. I want to feel this play. I want more. I want more. Like that is available to you. Okay? I love you. If this resonated with you in any type of way, let me know. I love to hear from you guys in the comments. I love to hear your reflections. If there's any questions, my inbox is always open. Share this with someone. This is how we change the world. We start conversations that matter. We have conversations that matter. We send it to someone we're thinking of, like, hey, thinking of you, think this might resonate with you because I fucking love you. Let's do this. Let's have a conversation. Right? So I will see you in the next live, my beautiful friends, and I will see you inside of Unattached. We start Monday. Okay? I love you. Happy healings. Bye.